It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Roosters Brewing Company, and it's a can of their Go Backer. It's a Session Vermont IPA coming in at 3.6% ABV. So hopefully a small but mighty beer. So without further ado, let's get this beer out into a glass and see what we get. 440 milliliter can, Roosters Brewing Company since 1993. Little bit of smoke on the can opening, beer in the glass. Ooh, look at this. We got a 1 to 2 finger white head, good levels of carbonation, a hazy straw, kind of orange straw coloured beer. Looks very nice. Slow moving carbonation rolling up the glass. Getting a good amount of aroma even from this distance with the beer. Let's get in there. Yeah, smells pretty good. Nice and hoppy, citrus, grapefruit. Ooh, yeah. A little bit of candied sugar, a little bit of sweetness in there as well, like a candied sweetness. It smells good. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Lots of flavour. Lots of flavour, very drinkable. It's the first thing I pick up is the complete drinkability of the beer. It's a very, very refreshing Vermont style session IPA. Session NEPA, you could call it. Another word for the beer. And at 3.6% ABV, it's going to be very drinkable. It's going to be very refreshing because there's less malt. The more malt you take away from a beer, the lower the ABV. Malts, sugars, yeast, eats the sugars, bish bash bosh, turns into alcohol. Very, very, very simple way of explaining it. Brewer extracts the sugars from the malt. Basically then they add the yeast at the end of the brewing process. The yeast eats all of the sugars, turns into alcohol. So the more malt you get, so if you think about a barley wine, big barley wine at like 8, 9, 10%. I've seen a 12% barley wine before now. But we won't go into that now. But yeah, they basically put a load of malt in the mash tun, get it all kind of mashed out, and that gets it up to 12% ABV because the yeast eats all that sugar, more malt, more sugar, more alcohol. So by adding a lot less malt, there's a lot less body. If you think of a barley wine, big massive bodies on the beer, kind of creamy and rich. A lot less of that in here because it's only 3.6% ABV. It didn't need enough malt. That much malt, to be honest, but it's still made for a really refreshing, lovely Vermont Session IPA. Flavours: a little bit of grapefruit, a little bit of pineapple, a little bit of passion fruit, a little bit of mango. Next to no bitterness on the back end, so a very small amount of sweetness to begin with, little bit of bitterness on the back end, a spicy pepperiness coming through. And then a little bit of kind of light cracker bread to begin with. Cracker bread flavours to begin with. It's good. It's very, very good. The tasting notes on this beer then, an easy drinking thirst quencher. Go back, it is a soft and hazy Vermont session IPA. Pardon me. Displaying layered fresh fruit flavours on top of a sweet malty backbone that gives way to a moderately bitter finish. Lightly filtered, drink quality, not quantity. Yes, do that. Vegan friendly. I like this bit. A SIBA assured independent craft brewer. They're not owned by a big company. And the ingredients are soft Yorkshire water, malted barley, wheat, hops and yeast. Big fan. Big fan of Roosters Brewing Company. The first person to put me onto Roosters Brewing Company, and then the first beer I tried from Roosters Brewing Company was their Baby-Faced Assassin. I think that's probably, I mean, I've not been drinking their beers since 1993, so it might be that they had some early kind of successes with their beers, but I come around one of their beers maybe about 2011, 2012, their Baby-Faced Assassin, and that was by a shop owner come blogger come beer writer, Zach Avery. He put me onto Roosters, or put Roosters Brewing Company onto my radar. And I mean, back in the day, whenever Zach spoke, everyone sat up and listened. He doesn't do so much anymore. He basically concentrates on his online business, his online beer business, which is pretty cool. So he doesn't do so much writing anymore or blogging. But he's a lovely chap. Look him up on Twitter. So I'm ready to... Pardon me. I'm ready to give my final thoughts and a rating on this beer then. Lovely look to the beer. Lovely as you wash the beer around. Look at that. Great quality to the beer. Nice aroma. And a really nice taste. Yeah, really nice taste. Really lovely. I like this. 3.6% ABV. Probably at the very limit, I would say. I'm not a fan of these 2.8% ABV, micro IPAs they call them. I'm not a fan at all. This at 3.6% ABV is my limit. There's enough flavour in here to carry and pull everything together and make it a decent beer. But I wouldn't want it any lighter. I wouldn't want to, drink this at 2.8%. I'm just not a fan of these micro IPAs. But anyway, 3.6% ABV. Go back a Vermont Session IPA for me gets a very, very good score of a 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!